Good afternoon po. Good afternoon everyone. Welcome po sa DPWH Sorsogon 2nd, Barangay Payawid, Gubat, Sorsogon. Today is July 16, 2026. Scheduled for today's pre-bid conference is for the two contracts, 26 FL0030, construction, completion of multi-purpose building, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. And 26 FL0067, construction, completion of multi-purpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Cagang, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Present here today for today's pre-bid conference are the following: Johannes C. Calagos, Back Chairman; Levi D. Pura Jr., Back Vice Chairman; Leia E. Fontanares, Back Member; Cecil Udilisin, Back Member; Leda Linisho, Back Secretariat; Pamela Cristel C. Duarte from Planning and Design Section; Diani by IT; Jesalu R. Almia, Back Member; David B. Almia, TWG. Madam Chair, for today's pre-bid conference, meron na po tayo quorum and wala pong present na contractors today.
Okay, since we have a quorum, this pre-bid conference is now called to order. So, the agenda for this pre-bid meeting are as follows. First, the basic contract data, requirements of bidding documents, eligibility criteria, documents to be submitted by the bidder, including technical and financial proposals, criteria and procedures for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, questions, comments from bidders and replies and back, and other representatives of the procuring entity, summary of proceedings including bid bulletins to be issued, common reasons for bidders' disqualification, and other matters. And to discuss the basic contract data is Pamela Edot.
Basic contract data for contract ID 26FL0030, contract name, construction, completion of multi-purpose building in Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Contract location, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract or ABC is 2,970,000. Source of fund is GAA 2026. Contract duration is 100 calendar days. Predetermined unworkable days or rainy days is 26 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 5,000 pesos. Submission of bids scheduled on July 30, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids July 30, 2026, immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work, BICWOPLC. Project description, we have here the scope of works. This project covers the construction or completion of multi-purpose building. Evacuation, the works include site preparation and earthworks, reinforced concrete works, masonry works, sanitary and drainage structures, installation of doors and windows, finishing of concrete floors and walls, painting and plumbing works. Objective, provide a safe, durable, and resilient evacuation center for residents during natural and man-made disasters. Here are the geotag photos and the environmental clearance. The proof of ownership, the geotechnical investigation, the necessary certifications, which complies the which complies the applicable department guidelines, specifically the material prices and the equipment rental rates, the certification for validation, and the certification for the CMPD. The detailed engineering design plan, we have here the cover page, the vicinity map, the floor plan, the elevation, the schedule of doors and windows, the footing details, and the schedule of bid. Requirements of bidding documents, instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, the DPWH Blue Book Volume 2 and 3, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. The bid data sheet for contract ID 26FL0030. These are all downloadable from the DPWH website or the PhilJobs website. The same with the special conditions of contract. The bill of quantities for the same contract ID. Minimum manpower requirement. Project manager must have handled infrastructure projects. The project engineer, the DPWH accredited project engineer. Materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer. General construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement, dump truck and backhoe required 1 unit. Next is the basic contract data for contract ID 26FL0067, contract name, construction or completion of multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Contract location, Barangay Cagang, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract or ABC is 2,970,000 pesos. Source of funds, GAA 2026. Contract duration is 103 calendar days. Predetermined unworkable days or rainy days is 26 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents is 5,000 pesos. Submission of bids scheduled on July 30, 2026 until 10 a.m. Opening of bids July 30, 2026, immediately after closing receipt of bids. Major category of work, BIC, WOPLC. Project description, scope of works. The project covers the construction of the multipurpose building, Barangay Hall, with a dimension of 9 meters by 8 meters. The work includes the construction of structural components, masonry, roofing, doors and windows installation, and finishing works such as flooring and painting, as well as plumbing and electrical installations and other miscellaneous works. Objective: to provide an adequate office and transaction space for barangay operations. Here are the geotag photos and the environmental clearance. The proof of ownership, the geotechnical investigation, the necessary certifications such as the certification of validation, the certification for the CMPD, and the certificate of compliance, which comply with the applicable department guidelines such as the material prices and the equipment rental rates. The detailed engineering design plan, we have here the cover page, the vicinity map, the perspective, the elevation, the roof framing plan, schedule of column, and schedule of beams. Requirements of bidding documents, instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, bid data sheet, specifications, the DPWH Blue Book Volume 2 and 3, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. Here's the bid data sheet for contract ID 26FL0067. These are all downloadable from the DPWH website or the PhilJobs website. The same with the special conditions of contract. The bill of quantities for the same ID. Minimum manpower requirement, project manager must have handled infrastructure projects. Project engineer, DPWH accredited project engineer. Materials engineer, DPWH accredited materials engineer. General construction foreman must have handled similar projects. Safety and health officer must have undergone 40 hours basic construction safety and health training. Minimum equipment requirement, dump truck and backhoe required 1 unit.
Key points: the lowest calculated responsive bid will be used as the criteria for award. The amount of advance payment is 15% of the total contract price to be made in lump sum. All progress payments shall first be charged against the advance payment until the latter has been fully exhausted at the option of the procuring entity. The contractor shall submit the program of work to the procuring entity within 10 days up to the delivery from the notice of award. Sinusunod po natin ang 2-envelope system, where the first envelope contains the eligibility and technical envelope and the technical requirements, and the second envelope contains the financial proposals. Ang bid validity po natin is 120 calendar days. Sealing and marking of bids. The original bid po, original technical, original financial, shall then be enclosed in a single envelope marked original bid. Each envelope shall contain the name and of the contract to bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient, back, procuring entity, and the markings do not open before the date and time of the opening of bids. Ganun din po sa ating copy 1. Yung copy 1 po at saka yung original bid shall then be enclosed in the mother envelope. Each envelope should contain the name of the contract to bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient, back, and the markings do not open before the date and time of the opening of bids. Unsealed and unmarked envelope, unmarked bid shall not be accepted. Not compressed and not password protected shall not be accepted. Improperly sealed and marked bid shall be accepted. Improperly compressed and password protected shall be accepted. Submission and receipt of bids. For bid modifications po, bid modifications must be submitted before the deadline of submission of bids. Bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid. However, it shall submit new bid equally sealed, properly identified, linked to its original bid, and marked as a modification. For letter of withdrawals, letter of withdrawal must be received prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn between the interval time between the deadline and expiration and bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. For electronic bid submission, bidder shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified, and labeled as a modification of the one previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of submission. Meron po tayong two modes of submission of bid, either manual submission of bid or electronic submission of bid. The bidder may opt only one mode lang po sa pag-submit ng bids. For manual submission of bid, yan po ay sa Box Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd Barangay Cagang, Sorsogon. For electronic submission of bid, yan ang po ay sa electronic_bids_sorsogon2 at dpwh.gov.ph. Eligibility criteria. The following persons or entities shall be allowed to participate in the bidding of infrastructure projects. A. Duly licensed Filipino citizen or sole proprietorship. Partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and in which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines and in which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines or persons, entities forming themselves into a joint venture as per section 52.4.2.1 of the IRR. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in the procurement of infrastructure projects when provided for under any treaty or international or executive agreement as provided in section 4 of the Act of the IRR of RA 12009. Bidders must have a valid PICAM license, must have a single largest completed contract that is similar to the contract we bid, at least 50% of the ABC. The single largest completed contract shall be supported by the owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor or a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES or similar performance and monitoring system. Contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience, provided that the cost of the contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC registration. Bidders must have an NFCC at least equal to the ABC. Eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by the bidders. Contractors, applicants who wish to participate in this bidding must be in the document request list, DRL, of the PhilJobs website and secure a printout copy showing that they are included in the list and are encouraged to enroll in the DPWH Civil Works application at the DPWH Procurement Service, 5th floor DPWH Building, Bonifacio Drive, Port Area, Manila, while those who are already enrolled shall keep their records current and updated. The contractor's eligibility to bid on that project will be determined using the DPWH contractor profile eligibility process and subject for further post-qualification. We encourage our bidders to enroll in the CWA to facilitate the fast evaluation of their eligibility. If registered na po sa DCWA, kailangan lang po isubmit ang mga documents ang following: PICAM license and registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, statement of either single largest completed contract, computation of the NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. If not yet registered naman po sa CWA, ito naman po ang mga documents na kailangan submit as part of your eligibility. PhilJOB Certificate of Registration, Platinum Membership, Pickup License and Registration in case of joint venture, statement of all its ongoing government and private contracts, statement of either single largest completed contract, computation of the NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Mandatory requirements, yan po ang bid security in a form of cash or money check, bank draft, or bank guarantee. Surety bond callable upon demand, 5%, or you can submit po yung bid securing declaration. Please be guided po ng ating panibagong format ng ating bid securing declaration as per RA 12009. Project requirements, organizational chart for the contract to bid, list of contractors' key personnel, list of contractors' major equipment units, owned, lease, or under purchase agreement. Data's General Information Sheet, GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission. ISO 9001-2015, certificate or its latest version as applicable, as per Department Order 110 Series 2024. Omnibus Sworn Statement, duly notarized. Please be guided po ng ating panibagong format ng ating Omnibus Sworn Statement. Statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. The statement of the bidder of the all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract we bid. The statement shall include all information required in the bidding documents. Please be careful po, dapat po naka-state po ang lahat ninyong ongoing. Any omission po shall be grounds po for disqualification. Yan po ang sample ng ating bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement. Sa second envelope naman po, ang laman naman po yan ay ang bid form, summary bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimate including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor, and equipment, cash flow by quarter and month payment schedule, other documents required in the bidding documents. Please be guided po ng ating panibagong format ng ating pong bid form. To retail evaluation of bid, ang purpose po niyan is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing correct calculated prices of bids, ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. Ang method po is a non-discretionary criterion shall be used, which shall include consideration of completeness of bids and minor arithmetical corrections. In case of discrepancies between bid price in figures versus bid price in words shall prevail. Total price per item versus the unit price for the item times the quantity. The unit price for the item times the quantity shall prevail. Total stated price versus the actual sum of prices of component items. The actual sum of prices of component items shall prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus the unit cost in the bill of quantities. The unit cost in the bill of quantities shall prevail. For post-qualification po naman, ang purpose po niyan is determine whether the lowest calculated bid complies and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents, to be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid. Ang method po is a non-discretionary pass or fail criterion shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents submitted by the lowest calculated bid. For post-qualification po, if yung compliance po sa ating DO9 series of 2012, if a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that 1. The personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract. 2. He/she will be replaced by another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office. Also to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should specify in the submitted bid the location of the equipment where they can be inspected. If any piece of the equipment is not in the specified location, the bidder shall be post-disqualified. Common reasons for bidders' disqualification. Letter A, submission of bids without valid reason. Submission of patently insufficient bid. Under submission of patently insufficient bid, number 1, submission of expired field job certificate of registration or certificate containing an expired Class A legal financial documents as determined during the eligibility screening. Failure to include the certificate of employment, contract agreement among permanent personnel and staff of the firm, and curriculum vitae. Failure to submit the required bid form, submission of incomplete, insufficient, or defective documents due to the non-inclusion or omission of mandatory provisions and statements for the required bid forms. Submission of bid form, bid securing declaration, omnibus sworn statement, and joint venture agreement without the legal name, capacity, and signature of the bidder or its authorized representative. The nomination of key personnel of a profession different from what is required by the bidding documents. Failure to submit the required certification of key personnel as per DO9 series of 2012. Failure to comply with the required minimum number of key personnel and equipment. Failure to submit proof of ownership, lease, or purchase agreement of pledged equipment. Insufficient NFCC, insufficient SLCC. Thank you.
Po, may mga clarifications pa po? Wala na. So since we have no more matters to discuss, this previous conference is now adjourned.